Hey, hi, it's Meredith. I'm here with kind of a bonus reading. It's all about the retrograde energy that we are navigating our way through. And we've got four really strong planets in retrograde at this time. So I thought this would be a great opportunity for us to cover that. And the atmosphere is charged in a really unique way at this time, and I'm hearing from a number of people about how their energy fields can often feel heavy, dragged down. Some people are encountering hostility. And that might be an understatement too. We could be having even some hostile interactions with our own ego's story. I know for myself personally, I have been a great witness to some stories that are bubbling up to the surface for me to look at. So I know it's going on for everyone. The point, though, of tuning into this retrograde energy is to be solution-oriented and have a focus on how we can make the most of what's unfolding at this time, because we all know that these energies that can feel heavy, hostile, challenging, they're all temporary, and they are all quite likely related to ancient history, though that ancient history has a way of repeating itself. Our first planet that's in retrograde and has been since April 27th is Pluto, and that's going to be in retrograde until October 6th. So there's good old Pluto for us. We're using a variety of decks. It's all oracle cards, no tarot this time. Sometimes the oracle cards have just the thing, right? So the focus here with Pluto being in retrograde, or my intention when picking up these cards, was how can we be creative? What are we healing? And what else did I put in my trusty little notes? Oh, what's abundantly being offered to us at this time? So in terms of Pluto, what's igniting our creative fire? So we're using the, I'll list all the decks for you in the description box. But our creative energy is linked to choosing who we are becoming. Pluto is a planet in retrograde, helps us see some of our repetitive and destructive behaviors. And a destructive behavior might be negative self-talk, right? We could be talking ourselves down rather than up. We could be focusing on problems rather than solutions. And let's just validate that those energies are in the atmosphere, and in a retrograde, we may have a tendency to lean into those. So if we're leaning into those, okay, fine. Loving kindness, compassion to the self, but then let's move the focus over to how we can be creative with that and ask ourselves questions like, what have I not considered? How is this serving me, right? And how can I be creative with this? And how does the experience weave into my own maturity, our own maturity? How are we growing? How are we being lit up creatively for this? So consider that for yourself. And that's going on till October 6th. So got a nice long window of opportunity to explore that. And now we want to know what's abundantly on offer to us for consideration while Pluto is in retrograde. And we have the oracle card of love. Divine source is the idea that no person, place, or thing is your salvation. Only love itself. Ooh, that's beautiful, right? Go right into the pure energy of love. This is abundantly on offer while Pluto's in retrograde. It's always abundantly on offer. It's just that this planet is highlighting it for us at this time. So step away from the emotion of love or the idea of love and even the Hollywood description of love, and get into the pure, raw love that you are. Then ask yourself, how do I get creative with who I am becoming. If I am becoming more love, pure raw love, I am that already, and I'm becoming more of that, where do I take it? How do I keep the fire lit with that, right? Great questions. And then the last card for us on Pluto is all about what has the most potential for healing at this time. And we have Dust Devil, moving out of stagnation. Well, yeah, you know, it's stirred up. And this is exactly why this little Dust Devil here is exactly why we may find ourselves feeling really challenged in this energy. We could actually be in resistance to being free of the stagnation. Yeah, because it gets comfortable. It gets familiar, doesn't it? And that familiarity begins to agitate and chafe after a while, doesn't it? So love is the answer here. Love is the pure charge. That is the resource required to light our creative fire and inspiration. And this is a potential pathway for us to explore while Pluto is in retrograde. Our next planet in retrograde is Saturn. That began on May 23rd, and it will remain so until October 10th. And Saturn in retrograde offers us karmic rebalancing. It's kind of one of those reap what you sow type situations. And Saturn in retrograde will actually reward you with your prior efforts, your prior investment. So I sense the World card there out of tarot. I know we're not doing tarot. We're totally in the oracle cards. But while Saturn's in retrograde, we have an opportunity to really celebrate all the investment we've put into our spiritual journey. And then we'll also get an opportunity to have a good look at what we have not invested in. Because while the reward of our recent efforts become very obvious to us, so too will the gaps become obvious to us where we have not invested, where we have not taken action. Saturn is often called the taskmaster, and Saturn is relentless in its ability to stick right in front of our face what requires our attention. Direct or in retrograde, doesn't matter. It's a no BS planet. And it agitates the heck out of a lot of people for a variety of reasons. So what have we got going on creatively while Saturn is in retrograde? Our first card is change. Yeah. You know, that goes so nicely with what I was just talking about. The gaps will reveal themselves. The places where we've not been investing, where we can put our attention, will become obvious to us, and that creates change. I love that we've got a beautiful flower of life pattern right there. And I feel the message of make what you want a reality here. If you want to make real change, you have to invest in that. So what is abundantly on offer to us while Saturn is in retrograde? And we have a card called detachment. And its message is, with detachment, you finally feel whole inside, with or without the fulfillment of a particular desire. Ironically, that's often when it's fulfilled. Yeah, what an excellent message too, because let's say you're being a taskmaster like Saturn and you take your foot off the gas for a bit, and all of a sudden just exactly the change you've been intending for, driving so hard for, hard charging for, suddenly blossoms in front of you because you let go a bit. You decided to do something different. You changed because the rewards that you've been witnessing from your other investments finally spoke loud enough, clear enough for you to have the understanding that hard charging isn't always the way to go and detachment sometimes is. And really what I feel there in this card is the art of allowing. And we get that message in the daily readings consistently, don't we? It really is about allowing the divine to bless us, making way for that. How many times in recent weeks Have we seen a message where we've been asked to clear the foundation? That's kind of what's happening here with Saturn. Now, what has the greatest potential for healing while Saturn is in retrograde and we have empty well? Time to replenish. Yes. See, here again is another gap that could require filling for us energetically, spiritual, in our spiritual journey. And we may have poured all we had into a particular situation, circumstance, relationship, business opportunity, and we might not have anything left to give at this point. So it's time to detach, time to allow, and let the universe bless us. Let Saturn in retrograde bless us. So our next and most familiar, of course, is Mercury in retrograde. That happened on the 29th, I think. What do my little notes here say? 29th. And it comes to completion on the 22nd of June. I know some of you are making big X's each day on your calendar for Mercury to go direct. I happen to be one of them this time around. I usually don't go into any flights of fancy here with Mercury in retrograde. I really do practice the art of allowing there, though I have to admit, I definitely have been feeling this in my own experience and some of the old stories that have cropped up for me, and they have brought a heavy energy, and I am reminding myself that those things really are temporary and these are opportunities for healing. So Mercury is about disruption, and it's a disruption in a lot of areas. It's kind of like a showdown when Mercury really saturates the energy atmosphere for us. So communication, technology, our ability to have clear thought. That is one of my current challenges. I've actually experienced brain fog, which is so foreign to me. So it's odd. So I'm my own inspiration for this reading, in truth. This is an opportunity for us to review, recheck, revisit. So with these other planets in retrograde as well, there's a whole lot of review going on. It's beautiful though, because it really does strengthen us. So where can we put our creative fire while Mercury is in retrograde? We have, how nice is that? Celebrate your wins. Yeah. Garner your gains. Take a look at where you've been successful and hold that in your heart space. Keep that at the forefront of your focus. And, as I said, the atmosphere can get heavy from time to time when we are moving through these energies, dancing with, negotiating these energies, and we can get dragged down from time to time. Someone commented the other day on one of the daily readings how things just cropped up over and over throughout the day, and they were really hot under the collar because of it. And so that kind of agitation has purpose. And the purpose is for us to fill our own well, be the love that we are, validate what's happening, and then garner our gains. Take a look at where we are successful and how to leverage that in the now, right? So what's on offer to us abundantly? Well, Mercury is in retrograde and we have outrageous openness. I love this. I love that book, by the way. Tasha Silver wrote it. She's the one who did this deck of cards as well. Fantastic book. If I couldn't put it down, I actually bent pages and wrote in the book and underlined things in red. That's how good the book is. Anyway, outrageous openness. This is on offer to us abundantly while Mercury's in retrograde, and the message is, dear love, open me to your will. Release me from my attachments. Ooh, we had detachment over here. Surprise and delight me with your plan. You know what's needed, and I am open to receive. Yeah, most definitely. Outrageous openness. That's the gift we can give ourselves while we celebrate our wins, garner our gains, and leverage it on the oncoming, because all of these planets are going to go back to a direct position, and maintaining outrageous openness throughout the challenges of review, hindsight, revisiting, rechecking. It's really a gift we can give ourselves, and it's how we can cultivate the most positive, highest vibration experience out of what's unfolding now for what's in the oncoming. So when you look back on this time, let's say we're now in October and Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter, Mercury have all gone direct, right? And you look back on this time through the summer months, the late spring, all through the summer, and on the eve of autumn, and you look back on this time, what do you want to be looking at? Do you want to be looking at the love that you are, how you filled your well, how you detached from old stories, and, you know, really poured your heart and soul into the oncoming? You know, it's easy for us, as I talk about it, all of us, to say, oh yeah, heck yeah, that's what I want to see, though the day-to-day details of getting there, let's validate that for a moment too. We know that it is at times a challenge. So what's most likely to be healing while Mercury is in retrograde? And I think this is so beautiful. We have the beloved card, radical acceptance. So we have outrageous openness and radical acceptance. Whoa. So Mercury is assisting us in radically accepting what is, what's here, what's right now, and how we're going to grow that into something even more abundant and beautiful. Now, we have one more planet, not quite retrograde yet, but going there on I think the 20th of June. Check my notes here. Jupiter, retrograde. Yeah, June 20th to October 17th. So Jupiter is known as a good fortune planet, and it's a godlike planet too. So in retrograde, it encourages us, it inspires us into a really deep dive into our own spiritual journey. We're exploring the esoteric here, and we're also reviewing the depth, the breadth, the width of prior blessings. So really, it's a perfect card in this lineup, because with all this other retrograde energy, it's going to be very easy for us to do a review of everything that has been blessing us, and for us to discover more. So that's what Jupiter's going to give us. And what creatively can we use the retrograde of Jupiter for? We have your past supports your future. Yeah, here it is again. So the message is now repeating for us, garnering the gains. We're going to take a look at what works, what doesn't work. Now, what's abundantly on offer to us? 2 cards fell out for this one in the shuffle, and then 2 cards fell out for what's healing with Jupiter. So we'll pay attention to that. Our first is what abundantly on offer. We have extraordinary. Aren't we? Yes, we are. There's a wild and impetuous uniqueness to you that deserves to be honored. Oh yeah, absolutely. And what a great thing for us to review and bring to the now, right? And then what else is abundantly on offer for us but divine love? Extraordinary divine love. And the message there is, when you offer everything to the divine with detachment. Now there's detachment the 3rd time over in this reading. When you offer everything to the divine with detachment, you begin a love affair with spirit. Isn't that just perfect? Yeah. With Jupiter having us going deeper in review and appreciation for prior blessings, wouldn't that just naturally create an even deeper love affair with the divine? And think about that. This extraordinary divine love This is what we are, what we have in self-relationship. This is what we have to offer in the broadcast, in the ripple effect. So we will be enjoying extraordinary divine love, not only with ourselves, but our partners, our dear friends, our family of friends. Whoa, powerful, right? What a gift. And then last but not least, what has the most potential for healing while Jupiter is in retrograde? Our first card, interestingly enough, Dragon's Hoard. Protecting the future. Oh, how nice. Yes, because that feels to me like the Empress right there. That feels like a bit of incubation, gestating, so to speak. We're nurturing what's coming from these retrogrades. Keep in mind too, charging these retrogrades are 2 eclipses. We had a lunar and a solar eclipse. So that's all in the mix too. So we're pregnant with the oncoming, and we're protective of it in a nurturing sort of way. And then, oh my gosh, look at this. Cosmic womb. Perfect, the divine feminine, yeah. You know, it does take the softer side of ourselves to do this kind of nurturing, to be in extraordinary divine love, and to be outrageously open and radically accepting, doesn't it? It does require the vulnerability of our divine feminine energies. So that's what we're nurturing, and that's what we're giving birth to. I hope this has been helpful to you for the retrograde season. I did hear from quite a number of people, as I said at the beginning, that they were feeling really challenged at this time. So that's what inspired this reading. My own journey through it as well, of course. Peace, love, happiness, blessings to each and every one of you. Check out the daily readings here on the channel. Namaste. Bye for now.